Hi everyone, and welcome to our Digital Nomad World Talk today. Today I'm going to be speaking with Orest, who is a digital nomad from Ukraine, who decided to return to be with his family at this time. So let's get started. Welcome, Orest.
Hello, nice to meet you, and thanks for having me here.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, and thank you for chatting with me. So I guess just to give a little bit of an introduction, today we wanted to host this talk just to get kind of your perspective as a digital nomad kind of returning home of what's happening in Ukraine right now, and also just for you to shed a little bit of light on what we can do as the nomad community to help people in Ukraine, or what we could do to kind of help spread awareness of what's happening. So I'm going to start by asking you a little bit about yourself. So can you tell us what you do as a digital nomad and where you were before you went back to Ukraine?
Sure. So I'm a digital nomad since 2012, actually. So it's like quite some time. Yes, it was my always a dream to travel around the world. And basically, after graduating from the university, I did a couple of internships abroad, like meaning Poland, Croatia, and India. In India, I spent over 5 months. I've been to many places in this incredible country. And from then on, I thought like, okay, I have to look for some kind of job which will enable me to travel, which will enable me to fit my lifestyle. And even though I was supposed to do the law practicing, because I'm a lawyer as I graduated, I found another way in the like building websites, online marketing, and all that stuff that that many people are doing, right, in the digital nomad sphere. However, what made me unique, I can say in this sense, is that I started to do this all in Ukrainian language in the Ukrainian market, which is relatively narrow, right, comparing to the global one. Anyway, I succeeded. And since 2012, up until now, I've been to already like 129 countries. So it's pretty impressive number, yeah. Approximately 5 to 6 months a year I spent traveling. So that's the story short. I have a digital company registered in Estonia through e-residency that everybody knows. I have a company here in Ukraine, well-established network of online entrepreneurs, digital nomads all around the world. So even when I stumbled upon the definition of digital nomad, probably around 2015, it's like I read and like, oh, like that's something what I'm doing already for 3 years.
That's cool. That's a really interesting story, and you've been to a lot of places, 129 countries. That's impressive. So I guess if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about where you were, I guess before you returned to Ukraine, and kind of when you went back and why you decided to return.
So my style of traveling also differs through time, because there is some kind of digital nomad evolution, you could say. And at first, people do some backpacking, then they flip between some bases around the world, staying longer to be more productive, setting up a company and so on. And eventually, probably like around 3 years ago, I was enough of constant move. So I started to spend more time in my native city, Lviv, in Western Ukraine. This is amazing city. It used to be very popular among digital nomad. According to how you contact here, I understand you've been here, right, or not?
Did you visit? I was in Lviv in September. I had a fantastic time. It's a really cool city.
So just like very recently, yeah?
Yeah.
So I feel like Lviv is the city that not many people know, comparing to the highlights of digital nomad hubs. But this is something that everybody falls in love with, right? So I started to reconsider my own city. I started to become more active in the local community, like participating in different events. Since I have a large audience, like over 100,000 people, I'm able to make some impact in the community as well. And in 2018, I was nominated by the city council as the ambassador of our city, which really,
cool.
puts, I would say, like some kind of responsibility on myself. And I started to spend I started to have a base in Lviv, but still continued traveling. So the ratio of the days outside the country and inside didn't change much. It's still around 5-6 months while traveling. However, I'm always coming back to Lviv. Like, that's the way. Small backpack, you fly for 1 month, you come back. I rent my own office where I do some work. My entire team is remote. Yeah. So when definitely the tensions have been going higher and higher, like in the recent year here, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks ago, I was on the very, very interesting trip. Hopefully, or at least I recommend you to take a look on the project called Nomad Mania. So Nomad Mania is the online community of big travelers. Like, I mean, people who aim to visit every country in the world. Yeah. Not all of them are digital nomads. Many of those people are just crazy geeks. Many of them are well-established business people who simply are looking for some new goals in life. Yeah. And with this community, we travel to weird places. For example, our last conference happened on the island of Principe, which is part of the country Sao Tome and Principe, out of the offshore of Western Africa and Atlantic Ocean, near Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria. And in order to get there, we had to rent a private plane. So that's like the level of trips, yes, we have. And so the recent trip was to Karabakh. Karabakh is a very interesting, very vulnerable and very tragic story. And this is the area between Armenia and Azerbaijan in the Caucasus. Yeah. Yes. So when we traveled there, those were like the territories regained by Azerbaijan after the recent war. I've seen there the scale of devastation I've never seen before. Yeah. I'm talking about the area of Luxembourg, completely in ruins, completely, with the former population of 800,000 people. Can you believe it? This is mind-blowing. Like, if you just type Karabakh ruins, you will see what's happening there. So it was one of the interesting trips of our club. Yes, let's put it that way. And it showed me the perspective that what can be the consequences of a war. Yeah. Tensions were growing, and I was about to fly back home. Like, my flight was just literally like 3 days before our war started. Yes. And everybody in the community was telling me, Orest, don't go. Please don't go. It's dangerous. Your war is about to start. All our embassies telling us avoid Ukraine. And we had a community of 25 people from 20 different countries. There were even people on the same flight as me, from Baku to Kiev, and from Kiev somewhere else, like to Western Europe. Yeah. They didn't take the flight. They took Istanbul and continued somewhere else. But I deliberately, it was my conscious decision. I flew back to Ukraine because I felt like I want to be the part of this. What's the reason? First of all, I like my country. Yeah, I like my family is here. I mean, this is the time you have to stay together or like to apply yourself where you can be useful. And also in 2014, if you remember, there was like a revolution in Ukraine. Yes. So yeah. I missed it. I was in Mexico as a digital nomad, Puerto Escondido, surfing, Playa del Carmen, drinking micheladas, and so on. So I cannot tell. I was in Mexico when it started, so it was like already pretty tough to come back. Yes, and watching on such events in your own country from a distant continent, it's terrible because you picture your own illusions. Yes, it's very tough. So I came back, and here we are now. I still can't believe it. It still feels like absolutely surreal. Yes, and if you watch what is happening, it's impossible to process. I cannot process this at the moment, but this is sadly this is the reality. And the worst thing is that I've seen possible consequences of this. Most people who are here, most people who are listening to this this conversation, they don't even realize how bad it can be. So I really hope it will not go that far.
Yeah, it's been I guess, yeah, from the outside, obviously we're seeing things on the news and stuff like that. Is there anything that you're seeing over there that is not being mentioned in the news? Is there anything that you wanted to share with us?
I will tell you, like, everybody's seen the war in Syria, right? 2014. Just imagine the scale. Like, you have the Syria, you have a country which is approximately the size of Bavaria, probably, yeah. Some 15 million population, probably like 4 million refugees, yeah, from there. So we are talking about like a quarter population refugees. Then and not very densely populated, like the desert with a few urban areas. Ukraine is the largest European country with like 45 million people. So like what we can have as the outcome is 10 million refugees. It's like it's just the scale is unimaginable. Luckily for me, or not luckily, I stay in Lviv, in the west of Ukraine. Yeah. So this. And when you watch the news of Syria, like, you know, you watch news, there's like bombings of Aleppo. Well, like, I mean, it happens, you know, you watch news, there are some reporters, they see children crying, some mother is telling like, I cannot come back to my house because it doesn't exist anymore, and so on. But it's still like it's on the opposite side of the screen. But when this happens in your home, and you see people and you speak to them who have relatives, you speak to people who fled after like 40-hour drive, which was supposed to take 7, you really feel it. I'm also like trying to reconsider this. Like, probably one of the most terrible movies about the war is Apocalypse Now, yeah, about the Vietnam. There are many bad movies about the, I mean, many great movies about the war, which really show the how terrible is that, yeah. But you cannot feel it through the screen. You cannot feel it from the screen. Yeah. And this is something I realized just now here, and I'm still processing this. So this what happens now in Ukraine. I'm really terrified what happens in the East, because just today I was speaking with my good friend, who was on the Nomad cruise with me, going from Canary Islands to Brazil. Amazing guy, English language coach, you know, just a cool guy doing his work online, traveling around the world. And he is stuck in the basement on the western suburbs of Kyiv. And he spends 15 minutes per day in his apartment just to take shower. The entire rest of the time, he's in the basement for 5 days. And this is the story of thousands of people at the moment in the central or eastern Ukraine. I stay in Lviv, which somebody's calling me. Okay, I have to answer, because now is the time I have to answer every phone, okay?
Okay, yep.
Слухай, Дмитре. Так. Окей.
Okay. Sorry, everyone, just bear with us 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'll just get them to unmute you.
I unmute myself. That was
Oh,
your
okay.
chance to Ukrainian language. It was a chance to listen to Ukrainian language. So
Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was something personal, so I would.
no,
Yeah.
it's so fine. It's just it's my it's actually like the part of the story I'm going to share. So and these things happen, and you think like, is it real or not? Like, can it be this? Because I live in Lviv. This is the biggest city in Western Ukraine. Probably everybody heard of it, which serves as the safe island at the moment. So all of the embassies, diplomats, high politicians, apart from the president and his team, they moved to Lviv. And Lviv became like a fortress. So I didn't drive out of the city, but my parents, my father did. And he is telling Orest, you cannot imagine the volume of infrastructure built around the city. Today, I was taking my old grandmother to the nursing home in order to stay mobile, yes, not to leave her there, so she'll be taken care of. I've seen the fortifications around the airport. So I'm not a strategist, but usually what happens in such situations is that bigger like unions, let's say like a Western, like the European NATO, they need some entry point to the conflict zone, yes? And if they decided to make Lviv this entry point, it means it should be safe. And since the Polish border, the NATO border is only like 60 kilometers from here, we hope that this area can be covered with a shield, this sky shield, or how do you call it? So far, no bombings happened in Lviv, as opposed to many other cities. So the nearest bombings happened 2 hours away driving from here. Like actually the city where this guy just called from, he is my operator, video operator, and I'm bringing him here because we are doing some serious production at the moment. We want to document everything what is happening. I'm not sure what will happen to us in the nearest future, but like every other day or so, I'm publishing a video about the life of a normal person here, starting from different simple misunderstanding, going on the street, looking lines to the ATMs, the pharmacies, developing the story how he is evacuating his family, and then how he is, just I don't know. I don't know what will happen, right? So the last story that I published yesterday was about that all the females of my family, my mother, my sister, another sister, and her son, which is my nephew. They traveled by car for 3 days around Western Ukraine looking for the way out of the country. And Google Maps are not working, so they cannot put the route. The road signs are covered in order to, disorienteer possible foreign army. So there were moments that when she were driving through the mountains, I had to speak on phone with her. Like, I mean, we are using iPhones, it's not medieval time. And she has like a modern SUV and so on. So I had to direct her how to go through the mountains because I know the area well. Now they're safe abroad. So that's but it's only one story. And today, and today when I went to the railway station area, which is half an hour on foot from where I stay now, you see like masses of people just going one direction, another. They are hustling something. There is like army, there are buses, there is like huge traffic. It's a terrible picture. It's a very, very terrible picture, and I'm not sure how it will develop.
Yeah, it's difficult to know exactly.
It's difficult to know, but I don't want you
go.
to feel sorry, because sometimes, for example, when you have like this big, like refugees from Africa are coming, so people sitting in the boat, they're doing this. I'm not the one to judge and so on, but it's still like you have the difference in civilization, let's put it that way, right? We are on the same level, absolutely. Like we use the same gadgets, infrastructure. I mean, it's normal European country. And when you have this happening in the 21st century, you know, you're questioning stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I have another question for you, I guess. So I saw on the UK news about brewery that I visited in Lviv, and now
About what?
changing. There's the big craft brewery in Lviv, making the beer. It was saying that they're like everyone's trying to do their bit to help, and they've now gone from crafting beer to helping create different, you know, bits and bobs that are needed. Can you tell us about any like things that people in the community have been doing? Like how is everyone working together to kind of
you would not imagine, but everybody is busy. The war is incredible topic. Like it's incredible. You never, if you don't experience, you cannot see it. The speed of life accelerated 10x. You cannot imagine how many messages do I process daily. You cannot imagine how many things people, I mean, the time management works very well now because it's like the question of surviving. Everybody is busy. Some people go crazy and they just keep scrolling the news. Some people just do the stuff, that just do the work. What do? They volunteer, they gather clothes, they gather some warm stuff for refugees to come. They brew some drinks, they contact foreign media, they organize logistics, they help the civil militia units who are getting armored now. Everybody is busy. It's impossible to explain. You just have to see it, how fast everything is going. It's never been like this before here. It's became a hub.
Yeah, that's interesting. And we've started getting in some questions from the audience, so I'm going to start asking them to you. If you had a chance to speak to millions of people right now about your situation, what would you tell them?
If you're talking about my personal situation, I am completely fine. I stay in a busy downtown area, and the weird stuff in that is if you put a foreigner or like any other person who doesn't read the news in the middle of the area where I stay, he would not notice this is the wartime. Can you believe it? It's impossible to believe. But as soon as you move, let's say 5 blocks, it became empty. Absolutely empty, everything is closed. And if you move another 10 blocks, you have like Indian railway station stuff. So that's what's happening. So my personal situation is that I stay in my apartment. It's a safe area, probably the safest urban area in Ukraine at the moment, because the safest is somewhere in the village, yes, in the mountains. So this one, there is large presence of security everywhere. Shops are open, espresso is pouring. Today I had a breakfast with this avocado toast, which is surreal, yeah. So I had a breakfast with the avocado toast, and then you can go out and you hear the aerostrike alarm. You have to go to the bunker. You go out from the bunker, you go a few blocks, and you see refugees like sitting without anything. So that's really surreal. That's very surreal. But at the same time, my family is in a safe place. My wife is with me. We don't have kids. Obviously, if we would have kids, she would have to leave. My father is here. So men are staying. Women can go out to the country. And I took the mission to document it and to show the storyline of one person during the war. I want to do it. I think it's very important to show what's actually happening.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really valuable. We have another question. What are some of the things we can do to help I guess if the digital nomad community wanted to get involved in some way.
So I have prepared, like, because you have to design things on the way, right? I created like a short page explaining my position and my decision with a few recommendations what to do. So I'm going to send it to you. Yes. And you hopefully you will share it. I will be very grateful. So in short, like what the way, I decided to reorganize my remote digital business towards the war needs. So if before I was working marketing, you know, launches, I'm pretty good in that. I organized the recent Nomad Entrepreneur Summit last summer. If you heard of it or not, we had like 3,000 participants. Yeah, I'm pretty good in this thing. Yeah. So, but however, like I decided to, okay, like what can I do to apply my skills in order to serve the main aim, yeah, the main spirit in the best way. And I thought that media, like I will engage all my international contacts in order to get as much support from the world to Ukraine as possible, and in order to transparently show the story, because there is a lot of dirt around. Yeah, so that's my aim. The ways to help, to support is obviously spread the word, share information, push your governments to interfere, participate in the demonstrations around the world in order to push your governments to help Ukraine. And secondly, definitely it's a money question. So my business completely stopped. Luckily, the financial system inside Ukraine is almost crashed. So since I have this e-residency company, I have a few accounts abroad, and those accounts I use now to collect funds, to pay to my employees, to send money to my friend who is now in the trenches in Kyiv, and he needs to get like a rifle. This is insane, but that's what's happening, and you start understanding the war under such circumstances. So I'll share the link. I can share it now, actually. And
yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
I did it like very fast, like in 1 hour on the website, in my Ukrainian website, just with a /support, and that's it. And you go, and there you can see it's very also transparent, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I saw as well on your Instagram that you've been like walking around the city and kind of sharing stories. Is that something you're hoping to be another outlet for sharing a bit about what's happening?
Yeah, definitely. Like this is part of the plan. So I'm not trying to compete with the global media, because I'm not able to do this. I want to share. I'm not like, you see my Instagram, but did you go to my YouTube or not?
Yes, I had a look at your YouTube.
Okay, so that, like, I mean, video is always more powerful than the photo, right? So basically, my work at the moment is that on a daily basis, I update honestly what is happening to me here.
Yeah.
And this definitely needs to be structured. I'm experimenting with the best format. We had like lives with people from different parts of Ukraine, you know, asking like, what's your opinion, what's this? But that one didn't work. It was simply hard to catch up. Some people cannot go online, they're in the bunkers. Some people get lost. So in such circumstances, you have to experiment. And I decided to do something that I can influence on. And the next step is, if I collect enough resources, I want to connect with other people who are able to produce vlogging material in English in other cities around Ukraine. So they will be, you know, there is a guy sitting in the bunker. I am in Kyiv. You see the shootings. What we are going to do? I mean, so because the person on the spot always can explain better. If you are sitting somewhere, like now I'm sitting, look, like you are where? In which city of the UK?
Oh, so I'm actually in Bulgaria at the moment, but.
You're in Bulgaria. Okay, very close. Bansko, somewhere else?
Bansko, yeah.
Okay, I was in Bansko on the Nomad Festival, actually, in summer.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we
it's a great
have the
point.
same background. We have the same background, you know, it's white. I have some shelf there, but it's possible that in a couple of minutes, the airstrike alarm will be on and I'll have to go to the bunker or to my, at least the bathroom, which is like 2 walls inside the building. So that's like, if you would tell me this 8 days ago, I thought like, come on, what are you talking about? So this is much like, this is the black swan in its purest form. Absolutely. So that one. So my next step is I'm organizing resources, contacting people, and if like people from different locations will be creating this story and documenting it, it will be very valuable material on the spot, first of all. And also when this mass is finished, it will be very valuable material for all the trials, all the historians, all the research, because what we are living through now, I mean, this is the top historical event in the 21st century so far. I think you can agree with me. And this will be very, very valuable for future generations, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. We have another question. They're asking, are you in contact with anyone in the front lines, and what do they say is happening there?
Yes, I'm in contact with them. I have many friends who went there, who took rifles and went. It's not like in the movies, you know. In the movie, you see like and you run, you know, you run, you're a hero, you shoot. No, it doesn't happen like this. Usually, people just sit and wait. And I didn't see the front line myself. I'm not sure I want to go there, but probably I will have to in order to understand it. Usually, is people sit, and then they push some launch. Launch is like burning the ground with everything, and they're like, okay, like, and you move. It's a tough stuff. Yeah. So people just sit, they smoke, they chat, they make some jokes, you know, they make jokes, and then they're like, oh, okay, like we have the alarm. Okay, let's do something. They make some move, and then they sit again. So that's usually the way. Yeah, you cannot simply just, you know, bravely go away and no. It's not a movie.
Yeah, no, it's very
I have friends, I can call them like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, yeah, we are fine. Can you bring us this or that, or I need this kind of help, or
yeah.
The most terrible here is that the human is such a being which is very adaptable. I mean, you adapt very fast. So it's only like what, 8 days since the start. To me, it feels like it's like at least a year already. Like it always was like this. The communication completely changed. Everything is in the messenger. People just like messengers, they call very fast. You know, you do some favors to each other. You ask for a contact. It's not as it used to be, like, you know, we're like, okay, we think. No, it's 10x the speed.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we're coming towards the end of the session, so I'm just going to ask you if there's anything else that you wanted to share with our community.
Oh, let me think. Yes, there is something I want to share. I want to share that when I really appreciate this, you know, like even how terrible would it sound, I really appreciate what I'm going through now. And I'm not going through some terrible things comparing to many other people, to most of the people, actually. I still live in a very comfortable situation comparing to millions now. But I feel that it makes you much more alive. It makes you much more alive. It makes you feel like the life is like, it's you're much sharper, it tastes better, and it feels like, in 1 week I matured for 10 years or maybe more. So I really appreciate this time, and we'll see how the future will turn out. But definitely, if we and when we win this war, our people will be like well respected in the world. We are already well respected everywhere, yeah. And I also feel, because I like history, I've been to many countries, I researched this stuff. I understand that this is the necessary historical way of one group of people who are Ukrainians to prove that they can be independent, that they can be free. History moves east in Europe. Every more Eastern country gets independence later than the previous Western country. Yes, it's normal. So historically, it developed that way, that now it's our crucial time in Ukraine. And I see it. I don't know how it will finish, but if it finishes and there will be independent Ukraine still, we will deserve to become an integral part of European community. That's what I definitely feel, and that's what most people now are fighting for their freedom, which is the most basic and most necessary what asset, yes, let's say, that people that natural human being has. That's what we are going through now.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that with me.
My pleasure. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much again for chatting with us and for.
I see that you're a little bit scared or so. I kindly ask all of you not to feel sorry. Yeah, like don't feel sorry. Absolutely most of the people. So those who wanted to leave, they already left. Yes. The rest, people who stay, they stay strong, they stay tall, and they like, come on, like this. So it's absolutely normal. It's not, it's not medieval time. It's 21st century when people would rather, especially nomads, do the acro yoga or something like this. But that's the spirit I really feel now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you again for speaking with me. If anyone who was in the conversation today wants to continue chatting with you, where is best for them to get in contact?
Under this link that I provided, there are all my links to all my social media that I update daily. Feel free to join, guys. Yes, and I would like, as I understand, you have the Facebook group, right?
So we have a community on our platform, which I sent you a link to, but I'll send you another one. If you could post on there, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So like what I have, I think like if you scroll down, through my Instagram or Facebook, okay, like the one post, like the previous, like not the last, but the previous post is about, like I wrote, imagine this, and I described my yesterday day, and I put like 3 hours of work and thinking into this post. So that's my wife, Marta. Marta, you can come. So this is my wife, Marta. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Together, we've been to like over 90 countries so far.
That's awesome.
Yes. So my wife decided to stay with me, even though like most of the women leave. She decided to stay, and we can do together. We're much stronger together. So if you read in the like previous post, I think it's very futuristic and sarcastic at the same way. You will see it, and I think it really fits to the topic of digital nomad horror dream. So
Okay.
I would, if you would permit me to do like the post, let's say, you know, in capitals, Digital Nomad Horror Dream, and then the entire text you have over here, I would be really grateful, because this is something that nomads understand, and they would really feel like, you know, some nomads work on the beach and I work in the bunker, for example. Yes, or
Yeah.
I take my carry-on luggage with a backpack which costs $200. It's like super handy, but I put all my life there because I have to, if there is an airstrike, I have to run only with it. You know what I'm talking about. And
Yes.
2 days, Ukrainian developers developed an app which reminds us about the airstrike alarm. So it's really like really sarcastic stuff. So just go through it. If you permit me to post it in the community, I would be really grateful, because this really raised the question what we are facing now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Please post it. I think it would
Okay.
be
So on
interesting.
your Facebook, I can post it, yeah? And you will like review it and go through.
Yeah, I'll send you a message after this and we can
Just send me a
figure it out.
message where I can do this. I will be very thankful.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.